Rome, 37 AD. The greatest empire on Earth stands at the absolute peak of its earthly glory. A new era begins as the golden crown of the Caesars finally finds its next master. The streets of the eternal city echo with pure joy, hope, and grand celebration. Caius Julius Caesar, known to the world as Caligula, ascends the imperial throne. The sacred fires of Rome burn bright, welcoming a young and deeply beloved ruler. Promises of vast wealth, absolute justice, and mercy are written into the new laws. The grand marble halls of the palace hum with hope for a peaceful, golden future. The ancient gods themselves seem to smile upon the empire's proud new protector. Caligula walks among his people, hailed by millions as a savior and a shining star. But a dark, unseen storm is gathering on the horizon, waiting to swallow the light. Just months into his perfect reign, a mysterious and violent fever strikes the young emperor. The finest physicians in the empire mix desperate, secret remedies to save his life. Sacred smoke rises to the heavens as dark prayers are anxiously whispered in the dark. Shadows lengthen in the cold corridors, carrying the heavy scent of impending doom. For days, the absolute master of Rome hangs between life and an agonizing death. The candles burn low, and the entire empire holds its breath in absolute terror. In the dead of night, the deadly fever finally breaks under the cold moonlight. The Senate rejoices, completely unaware that the gentleman they knew is entirely gone. A sudden lightning strikes the city, tearing the very veil of human reality apart. Caligula suddenly opens his eyes, waking up changed, twisted, and completely unhinged.
The benevolent ruler is officially dead. In his place stands a man completely possessed. He looks upon Rome not as a king, but as a living, breathing, almighty deity. He demands absolute submission, forcing mortal men to crawl flat before his presence. The golden chalices overflow with blood-red wine as the palace turns into chaos. Decadence and moral rot begin to infect the very heart of the imperial court. Staring into the mirror, he no longer sees a man, but a god of flesh and bone. Those who dare to question his terrifying divinity disappear forever into the deep dungeons. Cold fear spreads through the streets like a disease, watched by silent, predatory eyes. The grand banquets grow terrifyingly quiet, filled with the whims of a madman. His eyes reflect an absolute darkness that no living soul dares to challenge. The Roman Senate, once the proud rulers of the world, are stripped of their dignity to show his absolute contempt for them. Caligula introduces a new consul to the court. His majestic black stallion, Incitatus, is led directly into the sacred legislative halls. The emperor laughs maniacally as he mocks the trembling, humiliated politicians. The ancient and revered laws of Rome are shattered by a single, insane decree. Proud, wealthy senators are forced to bow down and worship a literal beast of burden. The horse is officially appointed as a Roman consul. Given a palace and loyal servants, he whispers state secrets to his animal, claiming it is far wiser than any human man. The Great Republic's legacy is crushed to dust under the heavy hooves of madness. Dark, heavy clouds seal the ultimate fate of a broken and terrified government. In 40 AD, Caligula marches a massive Roman army to the cold northern shores. The battle-hardened soldiers brace themselves for a brutal and bloody invasion of Britain. Standing on the edge of the jagged cliffs, the emperor suddenly halts the legions. He looks out at the roaring, violent waves and spots his greatest, most powerful enemy. He draws his sharp iron sword and declares open war on Neptune, god of the sea. He commands his terrified, confused army to charge wildly into the freezing waters. Fully armed legions strike the ocean foam, stabbing the massive waves with desperate fury. The bewildered soldiers clash with the water, hopelessly trapped in their ruler's nightmare. The bizarre battle ends not with human blood, but with an unexpected, shocking order. He commands the troops to gather tiny seashells as the glorious plunder of their victory. Caligula holds his wet sea spoils high, claiming a total triumph over the ancient gods. The dark ocean rages violently behind him, a silent witness to ultimate human insanity. Back in the heart of Rome, the dark whispers of betrayal grow louder in the corridors. A sharp, gleaming steel blade is concealed beneath the white wool robes of his closest allies. The mad god walks down the lonely marble halls, unaware that his time has run out. A burning torch falls to the ground, casting the final shadows upon a dying tyranny. The hidden assassins strike fiercely from the dark, ending the historic nightmare with steel. The golden imperial crown rolls into the dust, washed completely in the blood of a fallen emperor. The grand throne stands empty, a grim monument to the fine line between power and madness. Rome finally falls silent, awakening from a chaotic dream that history will never dare forget. Deep within the frozen, unforgiving wilderness of Siberia, a dark and twisting legend is slowly born. Grigory Rasputin, a wild peasant boy, roams the endless snow with a strange, unnatural intensity. He leaves his isolated village behind, wandering the vast land as a mysterious, holy mystic. Whispers begin to spread of a peasant monk who possesses terrifying, otherworldly spiritual gifts. He travels thousands of painful miles, drawn directly toward the grand palaces of the Russian Empire. St. Petersburg, a city of extreme wealth and royal luxury, is completely unaware of his approach. The Imperial Romanov dynasty rules with absolute power, but dark shadows are closing in. Rasputin enters the highest levels of society, a wild, unwashed figure among the polished nobles. His piercing, hypnotic blue eyes seem to stare directly into the souls of all who meet him. Within weeks, the mysterious monk gains exclusive access to the most private inner royal circles. Behind closed palace doors, a tragic and deeply guarded family secret threatens the imperial crown. The young prince and sole heir to the throne, Alexei, suffers from incurable, painful hemophilia. The finest modern doctors stand completely helpless as the boy bleeds closer to an early grave. Desperate and broken, Empress Alexandra summons the strange Siberian mystic to the imperial bedside. Rasputin kneels, whispers a dark, quiet prayer, and gently touches the trembling, dying child. Inexplicably, the internal bleeding completely stops, and the prince miraculously recovers his strength. The Empress falls under his absolute spell, believing he is a true saint sent by God. Rasputin is granted unprecedented power, becoming the most influential and feared advisor to the throne. He commands the royal family, dictating major political decisions with absolute and unquestioned authority. The peasant from the wilderness now holds the fate of the world's largest empire in his hands. As his power grows, the majestic imperial court begins to rot with deep resentment and jealousy. Rumors of dark rituals, wild nights, and scandalous behavior infect the cold city streets. High-ranking nobles watch in absolute horror as a peasant controls the emperor and his cabinet. He survives every early attempt of slander, his hypnotic hold on the empress remaining completely unbreakable. Many begin to whisper that he is using black magic and demonic hypnosis to blind the rulers. The political landscape shifts dramatically as Rasputin replaces honest ministers with his corrupt loyalists. He walks through the Winter Palace like a ghost, feared by both friends and bitter enemies alike. Underground printing presses spread vile cartoons mocking the royal family's surrender to him. The heavy air in St. Petersburg grows thick with the unmistakable scent of an upcoming revolution, yet Rasputin remains entirely untouched, laughing directly in the face of his growing enemies. In 1914, the fires of World War I erupt, dragging Russia into a brutal, endless global conflict. Emperor Nicholas leaves for the war front, leaving the government completely in the hands of his wife, which truly means the entire Russian Empire is now ruled by the dark shadow of Rasputin. He sends frantic letters to the front lines, claiming his divine visions dictate military strategies. The Russian army faces catastrophic defeats, and millions of young soldiers perish in the freezing mud. Severe famine and bitter cold strike the citizens, sparking intense fury against the royal court. Sensing danger, Rasputin writes a final, terrifying prophecy to the Tsar, predicting his own violent end. He warns that if he is murdered by nobles, The entire royal family will be executed within 2 years. A secret group of aristocratic conspirators decides that the holy monk must die to save Russia. Felix Yusupov plans the ultimate trap, inviting the unkillable monk to a dark, isolated palace. On a freezing December night in 1916, Rasputin enters the basement of the Yusupov palace. The smiling conspirators offer him cakes and heavy wine, laced with massive amounts of deadly cyanide. The lethal chemical dose is more than enough to kill a dozen strong men within a few short minutes. Rasputin eats and drinks greedily, while the terrified conspirators watch him in absolute tense silence. Minutes tick by nervously, but the deadly poison seems to have absolutely no effect on his body.
He requests more wine, smiling warmly, completely unaffected by the lethal chemical inside his stomach. The conspirators panic in the shadows, realizing they are dealing with a force that defies human biology. In absolute desperation, Prince Yusupov draws a hidden revolver and shoots Rasputin directly in the chest. The heavy monk collapses onto the cold floor, pooling in dark blood, seemingly dead at long last. The nobles celebrate their victory, believing the dark curse has finally been lifted from Russia.
Suddenly, the dead monk snaps his eyes open, staring with pure demonic fury at his terrified killers. He springs to his feet like a wild beast, lunging at the prince and clawing violently at his throat. Rasputin escapes the basement, running out into the snow-covered courtyard into the pitch blackness. The conspirators chase him into the cold, firing multiple frantic gunshots into his back and head. He falls again into the snow, but his broken body still twitches and breathes, refusing to die. They brutally beat his bleeding face, binding his hands and feet tightly with heavy iron ropes. They drag him through the darkness and drop his bound body into the freezing Neva River. When his frozen corpse is recovered days later, doctors discover a terrifying, unnatural medical truth. Despite the massive poison, the bullets and the beatings, his lungs were filled with water. He died of drowning. Rasputin's curse is fulfilled as Russia burns, and his unkillable shadow echoes through history forever. In a night of violent lightning, a child is born in Croatia, destined to capture the power of the gods. Young Nikola Tesla possesses a strange, visual mind, seeing complex machines floating in the dark. He leaves Europe behind, carrying nothing but a book of poetry and a mind full of revolutionary ideas. Arriving in New York City, he steps into a world of steam, iron, and rising industrial empires. The ambitious young immigrant seeks out Thomas Edison, the undisputed king of American electricity. Edison hires the brilliant engineer, completely unaware that he has welcomed his greatest rival. Tesla spends sleepless nights inside dark workshops, redesigning the flawed systems of the city. He develops alternating current, a wild, powerful new way to transmit electricity across vast distances. But a bitter disagreement erupts, and Tesla walks out into the cold streets, completely alone. Forced into brutal manual labor, the genius digs ditches just to survive the harsh American winter. Wealthy investors soon notice his unparalleled genius, funding a brand new secret laboratory. Thomas Edison launches a vicious corporate war, desperate to protect his direct current monopoly. A dark public campaign begins, falsely claiming that Tesla's new electricity is deadly and dangerous. Tesla fights back with pure science, passing high-voltage currents safely through his own flesh. The world watches in absolute awe as he holds glowing wireless bulbs, completely unharmed. In 1893, Tesla wins the ultimate victory, illuminating the massive Chicago World's Fair. A beautiful city of pure light erupts in the dark, changing human civilization forever. He builds a colossal power plant at Niagara Falls, taming the wild waters to generate electricity. His alternating current becomes the global standard, powering the entire modern world. But Tesla is already looking far beyond light bulbs, dreaming of an even greater power. He envisions a world where energy, information, and voice can travel wirelessly across the globe. The powerful billionaire J.P. Morgan agrees to fund his most ambitious and secretive project. On Long Island, a massive, bizarre structure begins to rise into the heavy gray sky. Warden Cliff Tower stands as a giant iron monument to Tesla's ultimate wireless dream. Inside his private laboratory, colossal coils crackle with violent artificial lightning storms. He successfully transmits wireless energy, lighting up the midnight sky for miles around. The ground trembles beneath the tower as raw, invisible power surges into the earth, but J.P. Morgan quickly realizes that wireless energy cannot be metered or easily sold for profit. The ruthless billionaire pulls all financial funding, turning his back on the desperate inventor. Other wealthy investors abandon him too, blacklisting Tesla from the elite financial circles. The grand wireless project comes to a sudden, devastating halt as the money completely runs out. Tesla watches in absolute heartbreak as his magnificent tower is ordered to be demolished. The giant iron structure collapses into the dust, crushing his ultimate dream of free energy. Overwhelmed by massive debt and betrayal, the brilliant inventor suffers a severe nervous breakdown. His secret laboratory is locked away, and his revolutionary papers are hidden from the public.
Years pass, and the world slowly forgets the man who built the modern electrical grid. Tesla retreats into a life of absolute isolation. Moving from one cheap hotel room to another, he walks the dark streets of New York at midnight, speaking only to the wild pigeons. In a dimly lit room, he sits completely alone, feeding a beautiful, pure white bird. But even in his crushing poverty, his magnificent mind never stops inventing terrifying things.
He fills endless secret notebooks with complex designs for forbidden, highly advanced technologies. Whispers spread that Tesla has invented a devastating weapon capable of ending all wars. He claims to have designed a teleforce ray, known to the public as the Death Ray. The invisible beam can melt military airplanes from hundreds of miles away in an instant. Foreign governments and secret spies begin to stalk the old inventor, searching for his papers. Tesla guards his final secrets fiercely, keeping the most dangerous designs trapped inside his head. The world enters the dark shadow of World War II, desperate for his mysterious military tech. On a freezing January night in 1943, the forgotten genius breathes his final, quiet breath. Inside room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel, Nikola Tesla dies completely alone and penniless. Within hours of his death, dark government agents arrive at the hotel room in absolute secrecy. The FBI and the alien property custodian raid the room, cracking open his private wooden safes. They seize every single notebook, schematic drawing, and scientific paper the inventor left behind. Trucks heavily loaded with his life's work vanish into the dark, classified government vaults. Rumors suggest that his missing files contain the secrets to anti-gravity, time, and free energy. The official government reports quickly claim that Tesla's late inventions were nothing but madness. They tried to bury his name in the dusty pages of history, giving credit to others. But you cannot truly bury a man who literally illuminated the entire face of the earth. Every running motor, every glowing wire, and every wireless signal is a monument to his mind. The forbidden genius continues to live on through the invisible forces that power our reality. Nikola Tesla remains the ultimate master of lightning, the prophet of a future we are still trying to build.